My mom, in the last letter that she wrote me, she left me this 4-page note, advice on going to college, getting married, having children, what career you might have. And it also said, you carry this sad genetic legacy. Maybe you can do IVF with gene testing. This was even before they knew that that was a possibility, but my mom had that forethought of, in the future, this technology might exist. And to tell me at 16, this is something you should do. My name is Allyn Rose. I am the founder and president of the Previvor. We are the first ever nonprofit developed exclusively to help women prevent breast cancer before it happens. My story starts with my mother. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at 27. She was getting her second master's degree, pinnacle of health, marathon runner. She felt a lump in her breast, and she went to the doctor, and he kind of laughed at her and said, "You're 27, you're too young to have breast cancer." She just couldn't shake off that idea that something was wrong. Push, push, push. They finally agreed to do a mammogram. By the time those results got back, the tumor was the size of a golf ball. She chose not to remove her breast, chose not to have a preventative surgery on the other side, and unfortunately it came back 20 years later in the other breast, and she died just after my 16th birthday. That's really where the journey of the Previvor began. My dad sat me down at 18, a couple years after losing my mom, and said, "Gotta remove your breasts, like it's a ticking time bomb." It wasn't just your mom, it was your grandmother, your great aunt. Almost all of the women in your family have lost their lives to this disease. You need to be proactive. I was a pretty offbeat kid. I played guitar in a punk rock band. I had just got my breasts. Hell no, I'm not getting rid of these things. Absolutely no chance. And my dad took a pause, and he looked at me straight in the face, and he said, "You're gonna end up dead, 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 just like your mom." And I have that burned into my brain. My vanity, the way that I looked, would always have to take second place to being alive. I had a really incredible moment where I was competing as a Miss America contestant and decided to share that I was going to have this surgery. It went internationally viral all over the world. People just thought it was this incredibly radical thing. I had a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy. I got hate mail from people all over the world saying, "How could you mutilate your body? How could you do that?" My dad got hate mail for encouraging me to have this surgery. But I realized in that moment that I now was given this incredible platform to speak to my generation. I was always talking about my future husband, my future children, that future life. And it's made me cry, but I'm living that now. And every day I wake up and I see my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, but quit his job. He was living in Germany, moved to America, nursed me back to health. I now have 2 beautiful children. I was able to do gene testing, eliminate my breast cancer gene mutation, and they will never have to live with that fear. That sad family legacy of breast cancer, it ends with me. My daughters still have to live in fear. Now I don't have to live in fear for them, because I know what it's like to live the majority of my life, to go through all of these crowning achievements and special moments without my mom. There are a lot of resources for women who have cancer, understandably, but there are very few resources for somebody who has a breast cancer gene mutation, someone who might have an upwards of 87% chance of developing breast cancer in their lifetime. The Previvor is meant to be that resource. They can go, take the deep breath, and say, "It's all here for me. I don't have to become Dr. Google. I don't need to ask ChatGPT about this. It's all there, easily digestible, perfectly packaged, ready to take into your doctor's office and advocate for yourself." I've been able to do everything that I've ever dreamed of post-surgery, and that was a big fear for me. I thought, oh my God, I'm turning 30. I've had a mastectomy. My life is over. I was the first woman to model for Sports Illustrated post-mastectomy. I have been able to walk in New York Fashion Week. I've started businesses. I got married. I've made friends. I've lived my life. And my mastectomy has just become a chapter in the book, but it's not the story. I'm very grateful for that. And I continue to want to share the story, everything that came before and everything that's coming after, because I think it serves as an example for other women. If she can do it, I can do it.